This is going to be a recording going over the Public Land Survey System, or in some areas you may call it the PLSS. These are some different things we're going to be covering. Okay, first, what is the PLSS? How does it work? And how can I use it in regards to tax sales? Okay. So, the Public Land Survey, or PLSS, is a method used in the United States to survey and identify land parcels. It's usually done by breaking the county into small squares called townships and sections. Okay, so each township equals 36 square miles. Each section equals 1 square mile, 640 acres. 36 sections equal 1 township. Okay. So the sections are laid out through a township in a system called Bostrophion. You don't need to remember what it is. Okay, it goes way back into ancient Greeks and Egyptians and the way they wrote on stone tablets and on walls. Basically, if you think about if there's an ox trying to plow a field, it will go to the end of the field and it will turn around and turn in a row in the opposite direction. Okay, so we've applied an example here of the Bostrophion text was an article on how the ox turning method of Greece and elsewhere. So you see that it's written opposite there. Okay, but now getting into more of the meat and potatoes. For the Public Land Survey System, which you'll run into in some counties, this is the way the townships are laid out. Now notice, 1 is over at the right and goes to 6 to the left. Instead of going back, think of it as an ox turning around. Okay, so you have 1 to 6, and then 7 to 12, and then 13 to 18, 19 to 24, 25 to 30, 31 to 36. Okay, so here the way the sections are usually laid out. You have a northeast, northwest, southwest, southeast. So you have roads that have been laid out along the 1 mile section lines. Okay, they say, okay, here's 1 mile, okay, here's a section, great. Okay, it's commonly used to create the layout of a city or a metropolitan area. A lot of cities have 1 mile long blocks. Okay, others won't, but they will still have it within that sectioning system. So you'll have major streets that will be on that 1 mile area. Okay, the zoning for this area is based around a lot of this. Okay. Now, with the Public Land Survey System, if you're looking at an aerial of Kansas, okay, if you look at it, these are quarter sections, so not full sections. And you can actually see some of the pattern that's in there. Even though you have some circular crops and others that are round, that are square, still you can see where the sections have been broken up. Now, here is a Public Land Survey System. Can you see the sections of the... Okay, so that one, for whatever reason, went a little out of kilter. Okay, but you can still see the sections here. Okay, whereas it's going in, you have, even without the overshadowing, you can see where they've been laid out. Okay, so the townships are laid out following. You have principal meridian lines that are north to south. You also have base lines that are east to west. Okay, the Public Land Survey System is really broken up like this, and here's an example of it. Okay, so you have the example of township range sections and quarter sections. Okay, so you have your township grid. Your baseline again is east to west. Your meridian is north to south. Okay, so you're going to have your township 2 south, range 3 west. Okay, so as you're looking at this, section 14 shows both normal division of the section into aliquot parts and the fractional division into government lots. Okay, so you're going to have different ones that are happening there. Okay, now within this, okay, they have broken up different areas. Now the original 13 colonies use actually a different mapping system. Okay, a lot of them have come up with their own, and some of it literally is as part of, okay, you go to this oak tree and then you go 40 paces northwest until you hit this stone bridge, and then you go 75 paces back east. Okay, all right. So with other areas that we're looking at, okay, here's where you can go in to look at not only the principal meridians but also the baselines. Now, within the Public Survey System, on some of the descriptions, you've probably seen this: southwest quarter of southeast quarter of northeast quarter of section 21, township 38 south, route, 6 west of the SLM 10 acres. For a lot of people, they'd be like, I have no clue what I just read. Okay, so we're going to break it down. So southwest quarter, okay? So the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter, okay, of section 21, township 38 south, range 6 west, okay? Now, SLM stands for the Salt Lake Meridian. So this would actually be talking about a property in Utah, as you have the Great Salt Lake in Utah. So Salt Lake Meridian. So with this one, it can be written southwest quarter of southeast quarter of northeast quarter of S21 T38S R6W of the SLM 10 acres. And some county people will act very, oh yes, go ahead and interpret this if you can. But now you know how to break it down to where it's going in on the southwest quarter of the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 21, township 38, south range 6 west of the Salt Lake Meridian. Okay? So again, not a bad thing. This would mean the township would be 38 townships south of the baseline and 6 townships west of the principal meridian line. In this case, the Salt Lake Meridian. So, if we have a legal description that consists of the PLS, we can map out properties that we may be interested in. Again, remember, we're trying to figure out why all of this information would apply to us using it as far as tax sales. So, with the public land survey system, this would be before you can get the plat map or even a parcel map. And once we've mapped it with a PLSS, we can decide to go further and get the plat map from the county recorder, sometimes the assessor. Or we can just skip it if we don't like the area. Again, remember, this is your investing. You can decide where you want to go on this type of stuff. So, we like to use the site earthpoint.us to map the properties out. It's also free. They have a paid option as well. Okay? So on the left side of earthpoint.us, you'll actually see township and range. Okay, click on that. Then you want to scroll down the page until you see a spot where you can choose the state that you're looking at. Okay? We plugged in an example, T20 North, R2 East. Okay? Looking at Arkansas, looking at the 5th meridian. Okay? Now, sometimes the county won't list the meridian in the legal description, and they have more than one meridian listed. Just try one, see if it works. It'll only work if it's the right one. Okay, so see if you can try what you can. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's not a 20 North in the township drop down in the Choctaw Meridian. So that tells us something. It's like, oh, okay, it couldn't quite be right there. Okay. So when we look at this one, again, remember it's southwest of southeast of northeast of section 21, township 38, route 6 west of the SLM. Okay, so we plugged it in to see what we could find on the range. Now as we go through, it says, oh, here it is. Great. So now we can map it out. So we just click on the fly to Google Earth. Now, if you don't have Google Earth, download it for free. It really can be a very helpful tool for you, especially with some different overlays that you can actually put on it from other companies. Okay, so you can get the Google Earth. Once you go in, it says, do you want us to open? Yes, we do, because earthpoint.us will actually go in and overlay things over Google Earth. Okay, so then here's what it looks like. Okay, it's automatically going to open up your Google Earth program, and that's where it's going to be. So it's saying, okay, this is what area that you wanted right there. Okay, great. This would be our township. Okay, now we need to find section 21. So we can use the image overlay tool in the add menu and use a picture to find our section. So we click on add and then go to image overlay. Now this is going to bring up a dialog box. Okay, so just click on the word browse and find the picture on your computer that you've taken. Okay. So then we have our township overlay. Okay, so we know what it looks like. Okay, and we can see where section 21 is located in the township. Then you make it transparent to where you can see where it is. So we adjust the transparency. Okay. Now you can also adjust the transparency again in the future. Just right click on the overlay on the left hand side and then click on its properties. Okay. So we basically just overlaid a section picture on section 21. So this shows us the quarters of the section. Okay, no big deal. So we have our legal description. Okay, so southwest quarter of southeast quarter of northeast quarter of section 21, township 38, range 6 west of the SLM. Now with this one, we actually have to map this out backwards. Now we chose the state of Utah, we chose the Salt Lake Meridian, we chose the township and the range, we found section 21. So again, this is what we have left. Southwest quarter of southeast quarter of northeast quarter. Okay. So I'm going to have to take a break for just a minute. I want to show you why we need to map these out backwards. So I want you to do this while you're watching me do it on the video. Take a minute and draw a square on a scratch piece of paper. Use most of the page. Should have something like this, okay, where it's divided in. Now you split it into 4 equal parts. Label the quarters northwest, northeast, southwest, and southeast. Okay. Now I want you to find the northeast quarter. Now what if I told you to find the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter? Does that make sense that we'd first need to find the northeast quarter to find the southeast quarter of the northeast quarter? Okay. So what we've done is we added another overlay to the northeast quarter. Now we need to find the southeast quarter. Okay. This is our southeast quarter of the northeast quarter of section 21. Now we need to find the southwest quarter of that. Here's a close-up of our southwest quarter. Here's a view that we've zoomed out a little further so you can see the area there. Okay. Now we're looking at the whole township again. Do you see the property in yellow? Give you just a minute here. Okay, there it is. Now here are some conversions that will be very helpful to you to be able to figure out what you're doing. Okay. Quadrangle is typically 24 by 24 miles. Okay. It's 368,640 acres. It's usually 16 townships. Now township is usually 6 by 6 miles. Okay. It's usually 36 sections over 23,000 acres. One section is 640 acres. It's a mile. Okay, across. Half section, of course, 320. Okay. Quarter section 160, half of a quarter section 80 miles, 80 acres, and then quarter of a quarter section 1/16 of course 40. Okay, so as we've gone through this, I hope that you're able to go ahead and look at the different maps that we're going to be looking at to find properties so that when the county, it isn't such confusing language to you now. Okay, so look forward to hearing from you. Love to get comments on how you were able to use this to actually go in and disseminate the information from the county.